If you're not using creative financing in today's market, you are missing out on so much opportunity. It's ridiculous. What's going on, future millionaires? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about creative financing and what it is. So I get this question so much and my wife is kind of like, no, you need to make a video about this. But before we dive into it, my name is Sir Derek Fantomad. I'm a financier and I'm a deal maker. So I raise capital for companies and I structure real estate and business M&A deals. I personally worked on over $3 billion worth of deal, in which $840 million of that, as of February 2024, I personally penned. So meaning I was the lead on those. And all of my deals, I didn't go to school for this. I didn't work at some fancy company. So all of this is independent and bootstrapped. So I feel as if I got a little bit of knowledge and relatability here. So creative finance, what is it? Well, let's see what the internet first says. Let's see what Google says. So Google is saying that creative financing is a non-traditional or uncommon means of buying land or property. Now, it is also a non-common way of buying businesses, but they're interchangeable. My personal definition of creative financing and deal making is the art of getting shit done. Simple as that. Most situations that I've been a part of, so most of the big deals I've been a part of, where it's $100 million plus, whether it's an acquisition of a business or portfolio of properties, everything, they're using creative financing. And what I've noticed is that deals under a certain size, meaning when you're playing in a certain, you're playing in a certain sandbox, most people don't really know what creative finance is, or if they have heard about creative finance, it is left them with a bad taste in their mouth from their experience. Because maybe they, were a buyer and they were trying to use creative financing and not really realizing, hey, this no money down situation doesn't mean no money down. Or no money down situation is actually a lot rarer than some money down. Or a seller has a bad taste in their mouth because someone wanted to buy their business or property at a lower amount and not put any money down. Or they think that they can't do certain things. In most cases that I've seen on smaller deals I've worked on, that's kind of the case. So I'm working on a couple deals right now for clients and personally that I'm going into the education. I have to really educate them about how these things work. So, i.e. that's why my wife is kind of like, you need to make some videos because I'm very tired of you having day-long conversations with a bunch of people and you're explaining the same thing. So the videos will make it a whole lot better. So please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps your boy out. So creative financing, the art of figuring shit out, right? There are so many options. There are so many options out there. I'll put some on the screen, but for the most part, in the $3 billion worth of deals I've done, we mainly about 90% of them were using these three methods, which is subject to, which is taking over an existing loan, seller finance, where the buyer is giving you installment payments with or without an interest rate, or a combination of the two. Most of the deals that I've done, whether it is real estate or business acquisitions, most of them are using those. When you break it down to its basic, to its core components, it's either subject to or seller finance. Because honestly, that is the meat and potatoes of the industry. Yeah, you have other stuff like lease options and things like that, executory contracts and things like all that stuff, right? That stuff is just other forms of subject to or seller finance. Simple as that. It's just, some states require you to go about it in this particular legal way. In most cases where we can get creative, you have to really take a deep dive into figuring out what is the person's situation. Just to point out, I'm talking to you buyers. You have to figure out what the buyer is going through. What is their situation? Why are they selling? You have to understand their story. Because understanding the story will then help you figure out, okay, well, what solutions can I bring? So let's take a look at a situation where you use subject to, right? That is where the property or the business has low, no, or negative equity, meaning they have to sell it at this particular amount. Well, okay, cool. Let's talk about substitute. I'm gonna take over your payments. I'll make sure that, you know, responsibilities, taxes, maintenance, insurance, all that. I'm doing that because I'm the owner of the property now. We're just, instead of us going to a bank and have to go through all the rigmarole, I can catch up your payments or start making the payments immediately and take it off your hands. In a situation like that, the seller probably wants to walk away from the property, so that works out for them. A situation where seller financing comes into play is where there's a lot of equity there, whether in the business or property. So now the seller isn't really stressed for money, but they might honestly be overcharging. You know, they might have overpriced their business. You see that a lot, especially in the business realm. I mean, hell, I live here in DC, and you see that all with the houses and everything. Trash houses, by the way, going for over $1 million. And then they wonder why it's sitting on the MLS for 400 days. But in situations where there's a lot of equity, the seller might be more open to doing seller financing. So to give you that price, give me payments. You know, and for me, I like to lock in, you know, a particular, in most situations, I like to lock in a set price because it benefits the seller because, hey, you have a particular set price versus an interest rate. And it works out for me and my clients because instead of us going to a bank, we can go ahead and make the payments. And how we structure the deal, a lot of times there's very low amount of risk for us as well. And quite a bit of times we can actually get longer terms than what the bank is offering. And then of course, in a situation where you'll use a combination of the two is if the intrinsic value of that particular property or business is much higher than what they're asking for. So meaning, you know, I've seen a situation where, and I'll actually make a video on this, where a guy originally he wanted $20 million for his business. The seller was only willing to pay $8 million, but I was able to negotiate with them in order to give him $100 million. But we got crazy terms. And to say that is to lead into when people learn about creative financing, they get a little crazy. And I don't mind. For me personally, I don't mind overpaying for something, so long as it's within reason. But again, if your price is unreasonable, then my terms are going to be just as unreasonable because it's all about a balancing act here. It's all about a balancing act. You have to have as much benefit as I have for the moment of us doing the transaction. And also, and long term as well, but for the moment, it needs to be balanced. So yeah, so if someone either sent you this video, whether I could have sent it, one of my students, or just someone that's just on YouTube is like, hey, I like how this guy explains stuff. Remember that creative finance is a way for everyone to win. Everyone should win. And that is a mind shift that you got to change from the traditional route. Like, I need to go to a bank, I need to get funding, or I need to put all this money up and things like this. It is a different way of doing it. Because trust me, multimillionaires and multi-billionaires are using creative financing. I have seen the craziest deals done with no cash out of pocket. I mean, you see highlights of companies buying other companies for cash or for stock or a combination of the two. But those are situations that you see and that are highlighted. They're not talking about the countless and thousands and millions of transactions that happen on a daily basis at that high level where, oh, this company is buying this other company by taking over their loan. It's pretty interesting. I love this industry. I love creative financing and everything. So I'm excited to make more videos. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. This is, you know, a new channel and a new challenge for me because I'm super private. But my wife is kind of like, nah, you need to get out there and everything. So, you know, I'm excited to make more videos, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.